And I call the member for Durack.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I'm also very pleased to speak on this rather unusual matter of public importance. Very pleased to talk about this government, how it's undertaking the listening, the learning, and also we're implementing a change for Australia so that we can turn around the mess created by those opposite and their abysmal social and economic mismanagement. Deputy Speaker, as those opposite have raised this matter today, the need to listen, the need to learn and the need to change, those opposite have graciously, at long last, publicly acknowledged the need to do just that, to change the financial downward slope that our government inherited from the dark days of the incompetent Labor system of mismanagement. And Deputy Speaker, I thank those opposite for drawing attention to their own shortcomings, for the need for our government to step in and make the changes to reverse the outgoing financial tide and to pick up the pieces for the Australian people. Yes, as a government, we inherited from Labor an appalling financial situation just 15 months ago. Yes, we learnt that major systemic changes will be required to reverse the downward spiral, to reverse the debt that Labor created, to repair and recalibrate NBN and education, to rebuild our international reputation, to revive trade, to stop the boats, and the list goes on. And those opposite have noted our government is moving carefully, with a plan and with its eye firmly focused on the end game. We shall not be distracted as we make incremental changes based on an informed plan, not based on fast-fire quick fixes. And yes, our government has learnt from the blunders of Labor. Our government has learnt that the way Labor tried to govern was without a plan and without listening. However, Labor certainly did introduce change, there's no denying that, and each Labor change led to one calamity after another. There's a very long list. I'll give a couple of examples. Their poorly thought out and expensive mining tax, Labor's total mismanagement of maritime arrivals, Labor's boat policy, let them come in, the water's fine. And who can forget the pink bats debacle? Yes, we've learnt from Labor, we have learnt what not to do. Those opposite had to learn the hard way. They went down in a screaming heap when the people of Australia told them loud and clear that they'd mismanaged the country and our reputation throughout the world. They were not listening, they were out of touch with voters, and they were not making changes that would see them turn the tide of driving the country right to the wall. Deputy Speaker, this week we move into a new parliamentary year. And yes, it's true, the summer break has provided more time for members to reflect, listen, learn and consider the government's plans to rebuild the nation. And these plans and major changes must be borne out in our policy and legislative timetable. Our government's change agenda must be underpinned by a sound budget and debt position. All of Australia knows this and they are tired of hearing it. That's what I've heard from my constituents. But they want us to get on with it, stick with the plan changes, hold our nerve and get the budget and debt under control. So this week we debate another major systemic change regarding higher education. The successful passage of the Higher Education Research and Reform Bill will lead to great changes and benefits for students in the bush, who I'm particularly interested in, but also the city. For those who can take a long-term view, there will be paybacks for the Australian nation. We'll be making possible the world-class education that Australian students need and deserve, opening up higher education to those from lower socio-economic...
The time for this discussion has expired.